used to live in the Middle East, and one day I was at this expo and there was these beautiful women that were doing things. I was like, what are you doing? This is extraordinary. And they're like, we're doing brows and lashes. This was before brows and lashes was anything at all. I was like, oh my gosh, do some of me. You know, I laid down and 2 hours later I opened my eyes and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the best thing ever. There was 1 or 2 people in all of Australia that were doing this, but it was basically an unknown industry. So I had the bright idea of like, let's open a salon. And we had 3 salons within 14, 15 months. And it was beginning to be such a booming industry. And then this company, Lash, approached me and said, we are selling our business. Would you be interested in buying it? I was like, you know, I've got nothing better to do, why not? At that stage, Lash was a very, very small company. You know, the turnover was minimal, it was not enough to live off and things like that. So I purchased the company for next to nothing and subsequently sold the salons. And then I was left with this other little business that created not a lot of income. And I was like, you know what, this is my gateway into an industry that I believe is going to boom soon. So that's kind of the inception of Lash, was from our living room and a tiny little shelf, and we've grown into this since then, and that was 2014.
Well, we are the largest wholesaler of eyelash extension products in Australia, New Zealand, and we deliver training for using that product. So most of our female watchers at home will know what eyelash extensions are, and they'll go to their eyelash technician and they'll get that done every 2 to 3 weeks. Well, there's a chance that we trained her in how to deliver that service. And there's a large chance that that eyelash extension technician will buy their product from us.
There's a lot of misconception about eyelash extensions, and that's more derived because they're incorrectly applied. I've personally had my eyelash extensions on for over 10 years now. My natural lashes are very beautiful and very healthy. So eyelash extensions are only ever damaging to the natural lash if they're incorrectly applied by an untrained technician.
At the beginning, we were a business, and then we slowly really came into our own purpose and why we are in business. And our business is not to make money, and it's not to be the industry leader. It just happened that way because of our purpose is so strong. We want to make people have a business and to be successful in their own right. So once we really fully landed on that purpose, everything else just took off because we really care about each person that we train and every product that we sell, and that comes across in our customer service and our company culture as a whole. The training that we deliver goes anywhere from 1 to 2 days, and that's the initial training. So there's a lot of information that we have to give to the student, intricate product knowledge, hygiene standards, Australian law. Then there's the practical application on a mannequin head so that the student knows what to do without fear of damaging another person. And once we graduate that, then we deliver eyelash extensions on a real model at the close tutelage of one of our instructors.
We have a huge responsibility as the largest training institution in Australia to ensure that our students, who are then going to go and apply on the public, abide by certain qualifications and certain rules that some are set up by the government, some are set up by us, some are set up by the industry. That includes health and safety. You're dealing with somebody's eyelashes and eyes, and it's such a fragile part of the human body that you would not want to do anything that would be damaging to one's eyes at all. So there's definitely a set of rules and a set of application techniques that only can be learned through correct training within the industry, without a doubt.
The culture here is quite different than any other place I've worked personally. And we've done that on purpose. We don't want a stuffy kind of corporate cubicles and all that kind of thing. So when people come work for us, they really are family. As trite and cliche as that may sound, it is a family.
If you don't love your staff, if you don't treat them how you would yourself like to be treated, if you don't imbue them with energy and hope and futures and inspiration, then that will affect your business because your staff are your business. So we have a very unique philosophy where we actually really care about our staff, like really genuinely care about our staff, not just within the workplace, but outside of the workplace as well. I do understand that some business people say don't get involved with your staff's lives and things like that. I'm one that absolutely disagrees with that. I want to help them.
Like, I have all of my staff's problems. And not just work related, right? I'm dealing with their relationships, I'm dealing with their kids, they need a loan for a house, and I'm really in their lives because I want them to succeed as much as we're succeeding. So these are some of the problems that you can face when, 3 of your staff have sick kids that day, and like, what do? And it just comes with a little bit of talent and finesse to make sure that all works out right.
If I don't have a happy staff member, I don't have a happy workplace, and I don't have a prospering business. We met at school and in Florida, and it was actually a little bit funny. I saw him and I was like, wow. I wouldn't say that I had the thought that I was going to marry that person, but I definitely had the instant thought that I was going to know this person for a long time. I just had that innate feeling. And then he saw me and he walked past me and he's like, you smell. And he's so naughty. He actually meant you smell nice, but all that came out of his mouth was you smell. So after he said that, I was like, that was the beginning of our relationship. But that was many years ago, and it's a beautiful combination. Like, I'm more extroverted and more extravagant, and he is very stable, and he's very logical, and he's very scientific and very systematic in his thinking. So the combination of those two things complement each other very, very well.
Why we work so well together is we both have very similar worldviews. So when you link them together, it just kind of strengthens the whole flow, if you will. So it's kind of a mutual idea. Like, that's what we're about. I'm kind of the rock that holds it all together. Jessica can go off in all directions and have like a million ideas, and my job is to distill those ideas down to some more of the key workable ones and make sure she stays on track. It's beautiful down here. I mean, this is it's arguably one of the best countries in the world, right? We got married, had a kid, and then decided that we wanted our kid to have the same sort of childhood that she had in New Zealand. So we moved to New Zealand first, we had him, and he could run around with his shoes off and be very safe. And then we decided, you know what, it's time to go to Australia and really put our foot in the mix. It can be a little bit difficult doing business in Australia. There are a lot of laws that in some way kind of prohibit you from really taking off. Like, there's a certain level where it's easy, and then after that you have to break through a few ceilings to really expand. The point we really expanded was when Jessica and we really did some soul searching, and once we found why we were in business, then it didn't become we're doing business. We've never really been about making money, but we didn't really realize that until we kind of really had that epiphany within us. And once we removed those sort of blocks on life and business and money and all the rest, it blew up. Like, we went in 2015, we 9 times our income, which means we 9 times the amount of care that we had to give, and it just blew up from there. And every year since then, we've doubled.
So I'm a little bit split personality. I've got my business and, let's do this and let's create and let's do lots of extravagant things. And then I've got the other side of me, which is like, this world is not good. We need to do something. It's my social responsibility to reside on planet Earth and make sure when I leave planet Earth, I have left it a slightly better place. So my husband, Derek, and I have been doing charitable work for years and years now. Recently, we decided to partner with the most beautiful organization that I've run across, which is based in Vietnam. It's run by the most extraordinary man. He fought in the Vietnamese-Cambodian War on the battlefield, and he had been shot. And he, at that moment, said, God, if I survive this ordeal, I promise that I am going to do everything I possibly can to ensure that I put goodness into this world. And so he fulfilled his promise, and he went home and he opened a successful company with the intention that that company would then fund his charitable activities. And he has an orphanage. And within that orphanage, he has 100 children who are under the age of 7 years old. These children are rescued from child labor. They're rescued from the sex industry. They're abandoned at his doorstep, and some of them have slight handicaps, and some of them have deformities, and he never refuses any children. I found out about this man, and I went, I have to flow power to this person to ensure that he succeeds and to do anything possible that I can do to help this man. So we work very closely with him. We fund them. We help them with administrative things. We're flying in tutors. We also send our staff to go and volunteer. And it's one of the most amazing things I've ever done, hands down.
We're quite passionate about changing the world. It's why we're in the beauty industry, because if you make the world a beautiful place, then it brings everybody a smile to their face, right? Consequently, we also see the negative sides of what's going on planet Earth, right? Drugs are taking over, you've got sex slavery, you've got all of these things that occur, and we want to fix them. We're quite passionate about those sorts of areas that are affecting planet Earth. We really want to take over the world. There's more than enough to go around in this planet. And I think some people get a little bit too fixated on having to have it all, and we want to spread it. The more you spread it, the more you get it. So we're gonna branch off into other countries, and we're gonna take the successful actions that we've got here and spread it over there so that we can really expand this whole culture.
So the future is we definitely have expanded internationally, and we will pursue that on a more finite process. But from my personal level is I want to save the world. You know, I do want to do business at the same time, but I want to save the world more than I want